Welcome to Directorial Disputes, the podcast where we give our unpopular film opinions and battle it out to decide whether they're deserving of their unpopular label. I'm James.
I'm Josh.
And welcome to our introductory episode. A first. A landing. This is it. This is the moment.
Yeah, scary.
The moment that I'm not sure anyone's been waiting for, but we're here.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And I think our plan is to run through a little bit about ourselves, get to know us, get to know the concept of the podcast, some of the rules, and there we are. So I'm happy to let Josh take the lead because this is how it goes. I make the decisions, and you do what I say.
I'm Josh. Well, actually, we've both been film students. I've just finished a master's degree in creative practice, so I've made a few films of my own.
Look at this man, he's a scholar. He's a scholar!
I wouldn't have put it that far. Yeah, I've been studying film since I was in, year 10? GCSE, so...
You're what, 15?
15, yeah.
Oh, you're old, man. You're old.
Thank you.
And for reference, Josh is 37.
Oh, shut up. No, I'm not.
No, sorry, I won't overdo it. He's 35.
Oh... That's better. Yeah, we'll set it right. But yeah, no, I've always film has always been a staple part of my life. Just as my parents can attest to that. That apparently when I was like 3, and I was ever babysitted by my nan, all I would want is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs put on all day, just the same, just over and over again.
And it's remained that way, hasn't it? It's not changed.
Oh yeah, it's on in the background right now. I can't function. Yeah, without it going.
I've never met you and you've not been watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on the phone the whole time. It's just one of those things. No,
you're just that boring, I feel. Everyone else, I can talk to normally. It's just you.
It's just me. I'm glad that we spent the time together to put something together where it's just us. Well, for now at least.
For now, at least, yeah. But yeah. So as I say, film is important to me, and if that wasn't an option to study, I really don't know where I would be right now. I don't know what I'd have done at uni for the last 4 years, if I'd have even gone. Just to kind of get a bit more about sort of the films that I like. I like a bit of everything. I don't have specific things. I am sort of here, there, and everywhere. I'm just looking through my letterboxd at the minute to see what I've got as my top 10 favourite films. And currently, because it always changes, I don't think I've had the same favourite film for more than about a year. I have a yearly favourite film, and then from there it goes. But at the minute, Submarine is my top film.
What an absolute banger of a film!
I'm glad we can agree. We're not really doing very well.
No.
On disagreeing with each other as of yet, but
before we get to our disagreements and all of that, obviously I'll let people know a little bit about me. I'm also I was a film student. I'm old now. I'm not a student. Unlike Josh, I'm not 37. But yeah, no, I was also a film student. But the difference was that I went to uni in the middle of nowhere, absolutely nowhere, and that was life. Yeah, I think. Just like Josh, film is a big part of my life. I mean, film is how Josh and I met. So
yeah,
where would we be without it?
What was it? It was we had to do group work, had a presentation on the film. Was it? Oh, what was it? It was a gangster one, and was it Ben Affleck? It had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was. Oh, you know what? I'm looking it up right now. It's so unprofessional, but
Josh's memory is far better than mine is.
Is it? I can never remember how to pronounce it, because I always want to say Jiggly, and I don't think that's how it's pronounced.
Jiggly?
Yeah! Hold up. Editing Josh here. It's pronounced Gigli, so they're both wrong, and that sets a good precedent for what's about to come in the rest of the series. Anyway, back to the episode. It's probably not, again, terrible.
A gangster film with Ben Affleck? I have no recollection of this.
Is it actually Ben Affleck? This is probably awful if it's not. It is Ben Affleck. It's got Jennifer Lopez in it. It's got Christopher Walken in it.
What is
it's 2003. You know what? Right, I'm putting it in the Discord. Here's
the thing. The man's not brave enough to even say.
Because I think I'm just saying it wrong, and I don't want to, annoy audiences already.
Message me how it's said.
It's in the Discord. It's there.
Happily.
It's in general. This film.
Oh, I have no recollection.
You really don't have any recollection? It was something about, like, we all got given a genre to do a presentation on, and for some reason we chose this as our film to talk about. I can't remember who else.
That's why I have no recollection, and there's no way I watched that film in preparation for your...
No, of course we didn't.
And so that was that, and the rest is history. Josh and I met each other and bonded over our terrible opinions of cinema, some of which that aren't so terrible. But no, unlike Josh, I'm not going to lie and say I love every type of film, because I don't. And if I did love every type of film, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, it's helpful for this.
Some of my favourite films, though, it's just got to be said, they're bound to come up later. Or they're almost certainly bound to come up later. The Social Network is just such a top tier film for me. I think it's so incredibly well made. And if you don't like it, then I am happy to fight you. Not physically, I'm incredibly weak. But other than that, we've got Whiplash, which is, again, just a 10 out of 10 film for me. It's so brilliant. And I have nearly had several heart attacks when I've heard people say that it's a boring film.
People have said that's a boring film.
Yeah, I've had conversations with people that said that it was really boring and they didn't even finish it. And I had a breakdown there and then. And the rest is history. And I think the only other one that I have to mention here is, which I know Josh will agree on, is Celine Sciamma's Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Oh yes, that is in my top. Well, I've got Whiplash and Portrait in my top 10. So
they've got to be there. Yeah, I can't believe Social Network isn't there.
Yeah, I think it was probably like number 11. It probably didn't quite hit the.
Didn't quite.
I was limiting myself to my top 10 because if not, I would just get carried away and add.
Who knows? Maybe when we're not speaking about our unpopular opinions, we'll give people a rundown of our favourite films.
That's the April Fool's episode, as we just agree on this.
Stay tuned for that. But yeah, so now we've told you about us, and I'm sure you've all fallen asleep or gone somewhere. If you are still here, I suppose we should talk a little bit about what our podcast is and what our plans for it are.
Yeah.
So here at Directorial Disputes, our aim is to out ourselves with our outrageous opinions surrounding cinema. Some more outrageous than others, and some that you will be so shocked you might want to break your listening device there and then. I mean, I know I have, after some of the conversations Josh and I have had. Yeah. But the aim is that each week one of us comes together and we present our outrageous opinion, our unpopular opinion surrounding film, and present it to the group in an attempt to convince people that it is not deserving of being unpopular. And how that goes is I might come on and say, for example, Paddington 2 is the best film of the 2010s. So Paddington 2 is the best film of the 2010s. I then have a period of time to express my opinion completely uninterrupted and dig myself a huge hole of which I am then prepared to sit in. And then from there, after I've had my say, Josh is allowed to come in and present his reasons for why I am so wrong. I need to take my opinion and cast it back to the shadows.
Yeah, and unfortunately that one would be a really short episode because that hypothetical was just correct. But assuming that I did, yes, then I would come in and give you facts and logic of why you're just completely wrong. And then we'd have a polite discussion, which would no doubt turn into shouting and violence.
Yeah, I mean, we say polite, we use the term loosely.
Yes.
I think polite is a loose term, depending on your standards, and we are both absolute cretins, and therefore polite to us definitely doesn't mean what it means to you. But from there, our aim is to get a check on the scoreboard.
Yes.
I want my opinion to be marked as wrongly labelled, and I want to get that check on the scoreboard in the hope of, at the end of the season, being the victor of all correct knowledge. Be it agreeing or disagreeing with Josh, I want to see my name in lights.
I mean, I also would like to see my own up there instead. I guess it just depends on quite how wrong you are.
Well, I'm going to do all I can to make sure your name isn't there.
Considering you do the art design for this, or like, you know, for all the social media stuff, yeah, you could probably just get away with not doing.
Yeah, that's my plan. I
Any.
mean, you might
might
win,
win.
but my name is still going to be there.
It's either gonna be James wins this season or not James wins this season.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to have not really small. Or it might just be James wins the season asterisk and then not at the very bottom. Who knows? Either way, I'm destined to win. And I'm very confident. But yeah, so our aim is to come at you each week with an unpopular opinion from one side or the other. And hopefully give you some food for thought. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. I mean, the likelihood is that you'll disagree, because otherwise the opinion won't be unpopular.
Well, that's the aim of the game. I think is to have people sort of split either side and not. I mean, it is got to be funnier if everyone is against one of us some weeks, which, you know.
I think there are definitely going to be some opinions that aren't going to split opinion. They're just gonna,
yes, they're just like how have you made it this far in life kind of opinions.
a mob versus one person.
Yep.
And I think we're both prepared for that.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I mean, I know
I've boarded
we
up my
both
windows.
are. Oh, I mean, it's the only precaution. That's got nothing to do with the mob, but that's just your
That's just where I live.
preference. Yeah. But yeah, so our hope is to bring you something new and tasty each week to listen to, and hopefully you'll get to know us along the way,
Yeah.
and get to question our sanity and our film views.
Yeah. I think just to sort of finish that off, that each episode is a small, tiny, little digestible nugget of argument, or a dispute, if you will, opposed to being a 3-hour long epic each week.
Oh, trust me, we will be recording for 5 hours, but that's Josh's job to sort out. Josh has got to make sure that is digestible, because boy oh boy, we can record some days, and I tell you what, it's 12 o'clock, light as day, and before we know it, it's the next morning. But yes, so our schedule is hopefully that each week you'll have something new, and we're looking to start. Do you know our start date?
Our start date,
we
as in
going
when
to
this
announce that to
episode
the people?
when this episode goes up, you mean? Or
No, not this episode. People
I was
are
going
already
to say,
listening
people are
this
already listening to it.
Episode.
Well, we should be running from, if you're assuming you're listening to this the day it goes up, the 4th of November? Running
Exciting.
each Friday until the 23rd of December. So it's a short run,
How
but
very
we're going out on a Christmas special.
And it's certainly a heavy start. I'm bringing my unpopular opinion, and for those who are excited, let's just say, if you like superhero movies, you're in for a ride.
As someone who does, it was interesting to say the least.
But there we are. That's that. And in the meantime, if you want to follow along with this journey of ours, you can follow us on our social media, and those are...
Our Twitter is @DisputePod, and our Instagram is Directorial_Disputes.
So go give us a follow along there, and you can see when new episodes come out, and I'm sure you can shout at us all the same.
Yeah, that's another thing. Give us your unpopular opinions, so we can see if we agree with you, or hopefully only one of us would agree with you, and then, you know, we can steal them for next time.
Yeah, we're here entirely to rob your ideas.
Yes, we are Hollywood, after all.
And I think that is a perfect note to end it on. Well, we'll look forward to see you next week for our first round of shouting.